What if World War III has already begun, and most of us simply haven't recognized it? No armies marching across Europe, no nuclear bombs exploding over cities, no official declaration of a global war. Instead, the battlefield is hidden. It exists inside computer networks, inside financial markets, inside satellites orbiting thousands of kilometers above Earth, inside social media feeds, and sometimes inside wars that appear to be local but involve the world's most powerful nations. The terrifying question isn't necessarily, will World War III begin? It may be, are we already living through its early stages? When we hear the words World War, we imagine the 20th century. Millions of soldiers, tank armies, fighter aircraft, battleships, entire cities transformed into battlefields. World War I and World War II were unmistakable. But warfare has changed. Today, a powerful nation doesn't necessarily need to invade another country to damage it. A cyber attack could shut down critical infrastructure. Economic sanctions can cripple industries. Disinformation can divide populations. Satellites can track military movements. Drones can destroy expensive equipment from thousands of kilometers away. And proxy forces can fight wars while powerful nations remain officially outside the battlefield. The battlefield itself has expanded. Land, sea, air, space, cyberspace, and even the human mind. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. Your phone has no network. Your bank account is inaccessible. Airports are experiencing massive delays. Hospitals are struggling with computer systems. And electricity begins disappearing across entire cities. No missiles, no tanks, no soldiers at your doorstep. Just code. Cyber warfare has created a completely different kind of battlefield. Governments and military organizations around the world invest heavily in offensive and defensive cyber capabilities. A cyber attack can target government networks, financial institutions, communication systems, energy infrastructure, and military systems. And unlike a missile, a piece of malicious code can cross a border almost instantly. The attacker might be thousands of kilometers away, and identifying the attacker can itself be difficult. That creates a dangerous problem. When an attack happens, how do you respond? With sanctions? With your own cyber attack? Or with military force? A mistake could turn a digital conflict into a physical one. But there is another battlefield, and every person with a smartphone can enter it. Information. In previous wars, governments fought for territory. Today, they also fight for narratives. What do people believe? Who do they trust? Who do they blame? And what information reaches them? Social media has transformed information warfare. A single video can reach millions of people within hours. A false story can spread faster than journalists can verify it. Artificial intelligence makes the problem even more complicated. Images can be generated. Voices can be cloned. Videos can be manipulated. Entire conversations can be manufactured. Imagine receiving a video showing a world leader announcing an attack, only to discover later that the video was fake. The danger isn't just that people believe false information. The danger is that people may stop believing anything at all. And in a major international crisis, confusion can be just as dangerous as misinformation. Then there is the strategy that has existed for centuries but has become increasingly important in the modern era: proxy warfare. Instead of powerful countries directly fighting one another, they support different sides: weapons, money, intelligence, training, technology, diplomatic support. The battlefield may be thousands of kilometers away from the countries making the most important strategic decisions. This allows major powers to compete without immediately crossing the line into direct war. But there is a problem. Every proxy conflict creates the possibility of escalation: a drone strike, a mistaken missile launch, a military aircraft entering the wrong airspace, a ship being attacked, a soldier being killed. One incident can trigger retaliation. Retaliation can trigger another response, and suddenly, a conflict that began locally can become international. Meanwhile, another race is happening: weapons technology. The world's major powers are investing in next-generation military capabilities: hypersonic weapons, advanced drones, artificial intelligence, cyber weapons. space-based systems, unmanned submarines, long-range missiles, and increasingly autonomous military systems. The goal isn't always to start a war. Often, it's to prevent one. This is the logic of deterrence. If your enemy knows that attacking you would result in catastrophic consequences, they may decide not to attack. But deterrence depends on one thing. Both sides must understand the situation correctly, and that's where technology creates a terrifying possibility. What if an AI system misinterprets an event? What if a radar system produces a false warning? What if a cyber attack makes leaders believe they are already under attack? In a nuclear age, miscalculation could become more dangerous than intention. There is another weapon that doesn't explode: money. Economic warfare has become one of the most powerful tools of modern geopolitics. Sanctions can restrict access to global markets. Export controls can prevent countries from obtaining advanced technology. Trade restrictions can disrupt entire industries. Energy supplies can become geopolitical weapons. And control over critical resources, from oil and gas to semiconductors to rare minerals, can influence national security. A country doesn't necessarily need to destroy an enemy's factories. Sometimes it can simply prevent the enemy from obtaining the technology needed to build the next generation of factories. The battlefield becomes invisible, but the consequences are real. Prices rise, supply chains break, businesses struggle, and ordinary people feel the impact. And then there is space. Modern civilization depends heavily on satellites, navigation, communication, weather forecasting, financial systems, military intelligence, global communications. Destroy or disable enough satellites, and modern society could become dangerously vulnerable. That is why space is becoming an increasingly important military domain. Countries are developing systems designed to protect their own satellites and potentially disrupt an adversary's. The irony is extraordinary. Humanity has spent decades turning space into a place of scientific discovery. But now, space is also becoming part of the strategic competition between nations. The next major conflict may not begin with a missile launch from Earth. It could begin with something happening hundreds of kilometers above us. But there is one reason the world's most powerful countries remain extremely cautious: nuclear weapons. A conventional war between major powers could be catastrophic. A nuclear war could be civilization-changing. That is why the strongest military powers have historically tried to avoid direct confrontation. They know something terrifying: there may be no real winner. This is why modern great power competition often happens below the threshold of full-scale war. Pressure, sanctions, cyber operations, proxy conflicts, military exercises, intelligence operations, political influence, economic competition. The objective is often to gain strategic advantage without crossing the line that could trigger catastrophe. So, is World War III already happening? The honest answer is, not in the traditional sense. There is no universally recognized global war involving the world's major powers directly fighting one another across multiple continents. But something else is happening. The world is experiencing intense geopolitical competition. Multiple conflicts are occurring simultaneously. Major powers are competing for influence. Technology is transforming warfare. Economic systems are being used as strategic weapons. And cyberspace has created a battlefield with no obvious borders. These developments don't prove that World War III has begun, but they show us something important. The definition of warfare is changing. Perhaps the most dangerous scenario isn't a world leader deciding, let's start World War III. It may be something much more unpredictable: a mistake, a misunderstanding, a cyber attack blamed on the wrong country, a military aircraft shot down, a missile launch incorrectly detected, a confrontation that escalates faster than diplomats can stop it. History has shown that wars don't always begin because everyone wants a war. Sometimes they begin because leaders believe they can control escalation and then discover they can't. The wars of the future may look nothing like the wars of the past. A soldier might not even see the person attacking him. A battlefield might exist inside a computer network. A satellite could become a target. An algorithm could influence a military decision. A drone could travel hundreds of kilometers without a human pilot. And millions of people could become part of an information battle without realizing they are participating. The next world war, if it ever happens, may not begin with explosions. It could begin with a screen going dark, a satellite disappearing, a financial network collapsing, or a false message that convinces millions of people that war has already begun. For most of human history, war was something you could see: armies, ships, aircraft, smoke rising above cities. Today, war can hide in the shadows. It can exist inside networks, markets, algorithms, propaganda, and proxy conflicts. So perhaps the biggest question isn't, when will World War III begin? Perhaps the real question is, how much conflict can the world absorb before someone crosses the line? Because in the nuclear age, the most powerful weapon may not be the one that destroys a city. It may be the decision that makes destruction unavoidable. This is Skywatch World, and the next war may not look anything like the last one.